Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 modding video. Today, we need to talk about Fallout 4's assault rifle. I know we've brought it up a few times on the channel already, and hopefully this is the last time we ever need to talk about this thing. But today, we have a very special mod that's going to completely redesign the assault rifle into something much, much better, at least in my opinion. Now, we all know that the vanilla Fallout 4 assault rifle is a very, very controversial gun for many, many reasons. I did a whole video breaking down all of the problems with that thing, but the bottom line is, it just is not an assault rifle by any means, and the aesthetics of it are just very polarizing. Some people enjoy it, but others do not. Even me, somebody who really enjoys the Fallout aesthetic of weapons, didn't particularly like the design of the vanilla assault rifle. So, in an attempt to fix that in a prior mod, I created the MG69, which many of you may remember, and I'm sure a lot of you use in your game now. This is one of my most successful projects I've ever done, and I think it came out pretty cool. It was a nice, simple redesign of the assault rifle to give it a brand new receiver and brand new aesthetics, while still maintaining some of the lore-friendly aspects of the original weapon. It even came with its own lore, explaining what the machine gun was based off of, and I thought it was a pretty cool little project. But while this was a lot of fun to make, it was something I did very early on in my modding career, so to speak. This is something that I did with not a ton of knowledge and had a lot of mistakes on it, and since then I have learned a whole lot. And as we tackled the attachment pack and I've been working on the assault rifle, I got the idea to redo the remesh project, but this time around, it's not the MG69. So allow me to introduce you to the M270 machine gun, a new mod for Fallout 4. This is going to be a redux of the MG69, offering brand new models and textures and a lot of really, really cool new features. Now, somehow, this actually ended up being a simpler remesh than the old one, with less changes to the core game files, while still maintaining an entirely new and really, really cool look. I'm quite proud of this one. I really tried to go hard on the details of this mod, as I feel the MG69 was very bare bones, and I think this one came out really nice and definitely sells the feel of a machine gun, while still feeling like the classic Fallout design. Now, as far as the mod functions, when you download this thing, it's going to be pretty similar to the MG69 in the sense that it's just going to replace the meshes for the vanilla assault rifle. And that's it, just replace the meshes. There are two different versions of this mod, one of which is purely a mesh replacer, and that is all that it does. It only changes the meshes. And there is a second version that will rename the gun to machine gun instead of assault rifle, sticking with the lore-friendly nomenclature of very vague names for the weapons. Of course, you can always change the name yourself by opening up Fallout 4 Edit. It's really up to you. Now, I tried to take as many suggestions from not only the community, but other modders as well as to how I should make this thing better, and I think we ended up with a really cool final design. And while this is just a mesh replacer, it actually has some pretty cool features that can be done by simply editing the NIF. So let's go ahead and head in game and talk about everything in this mod. Now then, we don't need to talk about stats or anything since this is still a vanilla weapon, but I do want to talk for a second about animations, because a big thing with this mod is it was built with the assault rifle reanimation mod in mind. While that mod does have a patch for my MG69 mod, that patch was only necessary because I made a mistake. I left the charging handle off of the original, where in this case, I now have a fully functional charging handle and carry handle that utilize the new animations. So let's go ahead and show those off. For starters, there is equipping and unequipping animations that utilize that new carry handle. And of course, the charging handle as well. And this even has support for tactical reload, since it does have that support in the animation mod. So I'll go ahead and show off a reload for you right now. You'll notice I even tried to spruce up some of the details on this weapon by adding a mag release, since the original magwell was pretty barren, just a hole for the magazine. This one actually has a little bit of detail and some implied functionality. As for the actual mesh changes, I will show every single replacement included in this mod. You'll notice now that the weapon has an overall very slim profile. I did keep the original foregrip because a lot of the attachments added in this are inspired by the M249, and this is an M249 foregrip, so I wanted to keep some of that and still harken back to the original Fallout 4 assault rifle design. And what I did is slimmed it down a whole lot. It is so much smaller than it used to be, and actually fitting of the overall silhouette of the weapon. Now then, if we head into the actual gun itself and all of the attachments, all of the receivers have been swapped for the new receiver design, which again, aim to slim this thing down and modernize it a little bit, not going straight into tactical territory. We definitely did have some more modern weapons in Fallout though, and I think this one definitely fits that, as this one in my headcanon was designed right before the total collapse of society. Now then, as for barrels, every single vanilla barrel has been replaced. All of those big bulky barrels are gone. So now this is the new short barrel, followed by the new long barrel, which is very similar to the short one, but with an extension of the barrel rather than the entire portion of this thing. Then we have these are all from the attachment pack, sorry. The ported barrel, this is one of the vanilla barrels. This one is also changed, so you have a new heat shield here. And then the vented barrel, which actually makes use of an M60 heat shield, which actually looks really, really cool on this thing. I was kind of surprised by that. That's all of the vanilla ones. You may have seen other attachments in there, but that is just for the attachment pack, which, I mean, I might as well show that off. This does have full compatibility with everything in the attachment pack. So, for example, the shield here absolutely works, and it was actually designed for the new receiver, so it looks really, really cool, and it complements the green very well, I think. Now, as for stocks, the stocks is one of my favorite section here because we not only have a brand new SAW-style pistol grip here, which I love. Thanks to Pig and his wonderful suggestion, we actually have changeable foregrip colors. So anything that has a green grip or stock, like the short stock or full stock here, will use a green foregrip. Whereas if you grab something from, say, the attachment pack that has a gray pistol grip, it changes the color of the foregrip back to gray as well. So everything is nice and cohesive and just works, which I think looks really, really cool. So here's the short stock. Here is the new full stock, which has that M249 style stock. Thank you to JCruz05 for having that model, so I didn't have to make one for myself. We also have the recoil compensating stock, which does use some parts from the laser rifle because I thought it would be really cool to try to take these and make them into a functional rifle stock, and I think it actually looks really nice, especially on an MG. And then we also have the marksman stock here, which is the only one in the actual MG remesh mod that uses a gray grip, and also features a pretty cool little marksman stock that has been bashed out of some vanilla assets, but I think they fit the MG pretty well. Now for magazines, there are actually no changes. The one thing I think the AR did right was the magazine style. I think it's really cool. That's it. Pretty simple, and they work with this very, very well, and I didn't want to make too many changes as to conflict with animations and such. That being said, if you do pair this with the attachment pack, you do get that really cool box mag, which fits really nice with the rest of the green furniture, so just throwing that out there. With sights, we do have a change to the iron sights, so the iron sights will actually get a new design that is much more slim and allows you to see a lot more on the screen rather than having that huge iron sight from the vanilla gun. And then we also have the newly added front post added to each of the barrels. None of the other sights are changed, though I am thinking of adding maybe a remesh to the rails for the scopes on the vanilla AR, because some of them are just a tad goofy, so we'll see if I can do anything about that. Now, the last category is, of course, the muzzle devices for this weapon, and I actually have not changed any of these. The compensator and the muzzle brake are identical to their vanilla counterparts because, to be honest, I just like them. They're kind of goofy. Now, the thing about this is I do plan to have some different options to add into the attachment pack, so if you use these mods in tandem, you should have some more muzzle options. Or alternatively, if you guys decide that you don't like these on this weapon, be sure to let me know in the comments, and I'll be checking the posts on the Nexus page as well. I will update this thing to add new compensators. I actually do have meshes ready. I just wasn't sure how anybody would feel about me removing these, so it's really up to you guys. That being said, the suppressor did actually receive a change, and that is a slight retexture to remove the 50 cal decal on the side of this thing into a more generic design, because in the vanilla game, the suppressor actually says that it's chambered in 50 caliber, and the weapon itself is not. While that may have been the intention for the original design, that's not what we got in-game, so it was a bit goofy, and we ended up with a 5.56 gun, which is kind of what I embraced by slimming down this weapon, so it's just going to be a generic suppressor design for this one. I think that covers pretty much all of the basics. The MG Remesh mod is a very simple one. It just replaces the mesh of the original gun with a new one, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. Now, it's important to note that this mod does not replace the MG69 mod. You can still go download the MG69 right now, and if that's your preferred replacer, you can still use that, but this is yet another alternative, and in my opinion, it is higher quality as it has a lot more techniques that I've learned over time, like better textures, better meshes, etc. So if you want to try this one out, it'll be linked down in the description below, and an Xbox version will be coming very, very soon. By the way, if you are watching this and haven't seen already, the West Tech Optics mod is now on Xbox, so if you haven't tried that out yet and you are a console user, be sure to check it out. With that, I think that's just about everything. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the mod. Again, it'll be linked in the description below. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video and every single mod I produce. If you want to support the channel and all the work I do on the Nexus, be sure to check out the Patreon if you would like to donate, but it is completely optional. A very special thank you to Captain Chaos, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Jackie Noy, Timmy76, Cushy, Moonlit Gamer, Feed, and Youth RC for joining that Tier 3 Patreon membership. You guys are awesome. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace!